My dear mother-in-law, we'd been walking back along the road, arguing between the 12 of us who was the greatest. It had started with a discussion about what made people great. We all agreed that in our world it is power and money. The strongest, richest, and loudest people are those who get what they want. And of course, being a man makes all the difference. The argument then started getting more personal as we considered who was the greatest among our group. Matthew said his education made him superior, whilst James and John believed the connections their family had put them above the rest. I thought my skill and experience as a fisherman was more important, and as Jesus had said it would be me that would build his church, I must be at the top. Nathaniel disagreed, saying it was age that brings wisdom, therefore he should be above us all. Everyone else joined in much in the same way, and by the time we got to Capernaum and entered the house, the atmosphere was anything but friendly. Jesus asked us what we'd been arguing about. Somehow we all felt rather uncomfortable. We'd our heads down and no one said anything. Jesus looked at us, shook his head and said, "Anyone who wants to be the first must be the very last and the servant of all." Well, we were trying to work out what Jesus meant when he picked up a little girl and said, "Whoever welcomes one of these little children in my name welcomes me." What a shock. Jesus saying a child is important. Like the rest of us, I considered children unimportant and only half human until they reached the age of puberty. I'd even learned that from Philip that in Greek the word child is neither masculine nor feminine. A child is it until it reaches the age of maturity when it can be considered useful. Yet the most insignificant person we could think of was being acclaimed by Jesus as one of the most important. Later, I was trying to think over what Jesus had been trying to tell us. I think he was saying that the kingdom of heaven is revolutionary. Instead of being ruled by power and wealth, the weak and the vulnerable will have the highest positions. If so, what does it say about how we treat people? I've always thought that children, and even some old people, not you of course, are just a nuisance. But maybe they're a nuisance, if they are, because they do not conform to expectations and standards. They disturb my ordered structures and routines. If they were toys, fishing nets, or other things, I could put them away. But I can't. They demand attention. So what have children got to show us? I suppose there is curiosity and natural enthusiasm. Small children are into everything and getting into mischief. Then there's generosity and trust, just like the little boy giving his lunch to Jesus. Although having a bit of soggy bread stuffed into my mouth by a baby takes it a bit too far. Yet such things make children weak and vulnerable. The mercy of our world and those of us who live in it. Maybe children are important because they teach us how to love others. I thought I now understood that children are important to Jesus, but then the next thing he said went even further. He talked about if we put things in the way of trying to disillusion children about God's kingdom, then it would be better if a large millstone was tied around our neck and we were thrown into the sea. Then he talked about if our hand, foot, or eye caused us to turn away from our faith, then it'd be better for us to get rid of it than not enter the kingdom of heaven. I don't think Jesus meant that we were literally to cut off a hand or a foot or pluck out our eye, but we got the message. Sometimes Jesus' words are really challenging, and I need to think out what he said some more. However, I'm not yet convinced that I want to spend more time with some of Jesus' smallest followers. Love, Peter.